So this lingerie brand looks really polished at first, but there are a couple things happening on the homepage that are hurting conversions slightly and causing friction, especially if you're landing here for the first time. I break down ecom stores to see what's actually helping or hurting them get sales. This one is interesting. So I'm going through this homepage from a first-time user perspective and show where things are creating friction, from first impression to product clarity and trust signals, and how that impacts whether someone actually ends up buying. So first thing, even if I switch the site to English, parts of the homepage are still in French. Things like the CTA or section titles, and especially at this level, that's a small fix, but it creates immediate friction for anyone who doesn't speak French. Then above the fold, this Plan Soleil text is styled almost like a logo, but it's not clear that this is a collection. I assume it's a collection. So at first I actually thought this might be the brand name. So already as a new user, I'm not fully sure what I'm looking at. Then when the collection is introduced further down, here we have new collection, also in French. And then we have categories, and then the Plan Soleil collection, ready to wear, prêt-à-porter. It talks about real life and feeling good in one's own skin, but doesn't really explain what makes this different or why I should care. So there's no clear pain point or specific benefit. And that's something I'd expect the brand to communicate, and not something I figure out myself. Because if I have to do that work most of the time, I just won't. Then talking about the structure, so I already said that there was a new collection here, and then we had categories, and then we had the Plan Soleil collection. So you have multiple sections also with rows of products, and the scroll gets quite long. And a lot of this is actually repeating what's already available in the navigation. So instead of helping me move forward, it just gives me more to browse. And there's no real added context or guidance, like what should I focus on where should I start. Then if we talk about trust, there are no trust signals early on. So when they do appear, it's quite far down the page. So if I scroll, it's all the way at the bottom. Your opinion matters. And even then, it's just their selected 5-star reviews. So there's no context, like how many reviews there are, or what the average rating is. So instead of building trust, it actually can feel a bit unclear, and it can actually hurt trust because they've created a filtered image of all of their reviews. Then if we go up a little bit, we have this offer. So how does it work? And it's actually not clear how it works. They talk about pricing, that the more you buy, the cheaper it gets. So instead of strengthening it, it actually creates more confusion because you expect here to have a quantifiable amount. So if you buy 3, it's reduced by this much. If you buy 5, it's reduced by this much. So this actually just opens up more questions than clearing anything up. So overall, the site looks strong visually, but it assumes the user already understands the brand. And for someone landing here for the first time, that creates a lot of small points of friction around clarity and trust, and it makes it harder for someone to move towards a purchase. And that's actually where potential conversions get lost. So if you're running an ecom brand and this feels familiar, where it looks good but it doesn't convert as well as it should, that's exactly what I focus on. So I help brands turn that into a clearer, more structured journey that actually drives more sales. And if you want more breakdowns like this, you can subscribe because I'll be doing this weekly.